Cicero Biography. Cicero used to be a Roman lawyer, orator, statesman and political philosopher. He used to be a champion of republican authorities in the final days of the Roman Republic and used to be assassinated on the orders of Mark Antony. Cicero wrote significantly on many topics, however is not recognized for his writings and speeches which encompass influential expositions of liberty, republican authorities and justice. His Latin texts had a very enormous impact on later philosophers such as St Augustine, Desiderius Erasmus, and John Locke. Cicero is regarded the preeminent master of Latin prose, writing with a special freedom, readability and directness. He is stated to have rescued philosophy from the philosophers and introduced it to the public, political realm. His most influential work is the Thinking of Herbal Rights. Law in the ideal feel is proper motive in concord with nature. Cicero, De Republica, 3.32. Birth. Marcus Tullius Cicero used to be born 106 BC to a rich household in Arpinum, Latium, modern-day Italy. He used to be properly trained in each Latin and Greek and undertook navy training, however his increased pastime was once in education to be a lawyer. In 80 BC, he took a controversial case, the defense of Sextus Roscius, who had been unjustly accused of fratricide. The situation used to be that the costs have been made through those shut to the effective Roman statesman Sulla, who used to be quickly dictator of the Roman Republic 82 to 81 BC. Cicero's defense positioned him in opposition to these effective interests. However, his ability in oratory enabled him to free the falsely accused man. The trial received him a distinguished reputation. Cicero's talent as an orator and legal professional had been primarily based on his potential to rouse specific thoughts from righteous anger to laughter amongst the jury. He additionally prevented the extra afflora d'oratory and received direct to the coronary heart of the case. With a rising popularity as legal professional and orator, Cicero then made an entrance into Roman politics and grew to be a praetor or judicial officer. In Roman instances it was once uncommon to upward push to prominence due to talent as a legal professional as an alternative to navy capacity. Public talking was once particularly prized in Roman instances as it was once the important capacity of communication. Cicero took it significantly, taking workout routines to enhance the power of his lungs and voice. In the Senate, Cicero grew to become allied with Pompey and he spoke in opposition to the main optimates, a conservative faction in the Roman Senate who sought to uphold the hobbies and wealth of the aristocracy and oligarchy. In 63 BC at the age of 43, he was once elected consul. It used to be a tumultuous time with cracks acting in the Roman Republic and threats to character liberty. During his year of consul, there used to be a conspiracy aimed at killing Cicero and overthrowing the Republic. It was once led by using Lucius Sergius Catilina. However, Cicero got here to find out the plot and Catilina and his 4 conspirators had been unmasked. Cicero castigated the plotters in his speeches and the problem used to be added to the Senate. Cicero agreed to have the plotters finished, even though Julius Caesar had spoken in opposition to the dying penalty and for existence imprisonment. The choice to execute Roman residents barring trial was once viewed an unsafe move. However, at the time, the choice to execute the plotters and shop the Republic united all training of Romans, and Cicero grew to be very popular. A function of Cicero's politics used to be that he was once neither an aristocrat or plebeian, however sought to unite the distinctive training in a concordia ordinum, or concord between the classes. However, inside a few years, political adjustments swung towards Cicero. Julius Caesar shaped an alliance with Crassus and Pompey in the first triumvirate as they sought to ignore the Senate. Cicero was once invited to additionally be phase of the triumvirate, however he declined, fearing it was once unconstitutional and towards the republican ideal. In 58 BC Cicero used to be pressured to flee Rome after Clodius and his different enemies conspired towards him. However, after a while, Pompey used to be in a position to recall his historic ally to Rome. Back in Rome, he was once influenced by way of Pompey to in the end take delivery of the triumvirate. However, Cicero remained conflicted between the truth of the modern political scenario and his republican principles. Because they saved his existence and introduced him lower back from exile, Cicero remained indebted to the triumvirate and had to take doubtful defense instances on behalf of them. In this period, he typically retired from public existence and focused on writing. This blanketed his main works, such as on the Orator, 55 BC, De Republica, 52, on the Republic, and commenced the De Legibus, 52, on laws. Above all, the search after reality and its keen pursuit are ordinary to man. Cicero, De Physis, 1.13. In 51 BC he was once given the governorship of Sulcia in the south of Italy. Cicero was once reluctant to take the job as he noticed it as a partial exile from Rome. However, he proved a wonderful governor, ruling with integrity, honesty and probity. He ran a frugal household, and in contrast to preceding occupants, used to be now not profligate. He sought to return property to these who misplaced it to preceding implement schemes. His cautious and sincere governance enabled a decreased tax burden on neighborhood inhabitants, and he was once extensively admired. In 49 BC Julius Caesar back to Rome, positive in opposition to the Gauls. On crossing the Rubicon, Caesar sought to defeat Pompey and acquire sole electricity over Rome. Cicero spoke to Caesar had tried to persuade him now not to proceed the conflict in opposition to Pompey. Cicero sought to keep away from civil fighting and solely justified warfare for the self-defense of a state. A conflict is in no way undertaken by means of the perfect state, without in protection of its honor or its safety. Caesar listened respectfully, however had no intention of paying heed. By 45 Caesar had emerged successful and declared himself dictator, successfully ending the Roman Republic. Cicero disproved Caesar's dictatorship, however each guy's got here to in lodging with Caesar pardoning Cicero. In 44 BC on the Ides of March senators, led by way of Brutus, assassinated Caesar on the steps of the Roman Senate. Cicero was once unaware of the plot, however used to be assumed to be sympathetic due to his Republican sympathies. In the aftermath of the assassination, Cicero performed an integral position in mediating between exceptional facets and grew to be the main spokesperson for the Senate. He disliked Mark Antony and his plot to take revenge on the murderers. He additionally defended and sectioned the legacy of Caesar so that no longer all his reforms would be lost. Death. However, in the ensuing energy struggle, Mark Antony, allied with Octavian, rose in prominence. Mark Antony was once brutal in turning on any enemy, and a prescribed listing covered Cicero, despite Octavian arguing in opposition to it. Cicero used to be nevertheless famous amongst many in Rome, however he was once chased out of Rome to his villa in Formiae. Eventually, on 7th of December 43 BC, Mark Antony's troopers arrived, and Cicero was once betrayed through one of his freed servants. Cicero had hoped to flee to Macedonia, however as soon as captured and surrounded Cicero did no longer face up to, however is stated to have held out his neck to make it simpler for the killers to do their job. His closing phrases have been stated to be, "There is nothing acceptable about what you are doing, soldier, however do strive to kill me properly." His throat used to be reduced and then beheaded, and his palms reduced off and displayed on the rostra in the Forum Romanum. The works of Cicero. Cicero is broadly viewed as the master of Latin prose. His works grew to be so extensively unfold that the educating of Latin is intently associated to the writings of Cicero. He wrote substantially on philosophy, even though he noticed philosophy as subordinate to politics. Part of his goal was once to strive and summarize the incredible philosophy of the classical age. He admired the Stoics and Socrates in particular. Cicero wrote favorably of human reason. "What is there, I will no longer say in man, however in the entire of heaven and earth, greater divine than reason." Cicero, De Legibus, 1.22. The later rediscovery of Cicero had a necessary effect on the Renaissance and Enlightenment period. The place purpose instead than superstition rose in importance. For many medieval philosophers, the writings of Cicero gave a classical help to the new motion of purpose and liberty. He wrote regularly of the maxim of liberty. Leaving human beings alone, as lengthy as they do now not damage others. In creating his principle of the social contract, John Locke made use of Cicero's very own statement, Salus populi suprema lex, or let the welfare of the humans be the last law. Amongst his most necessary writings, Cicero wrote in favor of liberty and republican government. His philosophic writings provide thinking to the thought that all guys are created equal. T.S. on the other hand, one defines man, the equal definition applies to us all. This is enough proof that there is no imperative distinction inside mankind. Cicero, De Legibus, 1.30. When drafting the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson paid tribute to the writings of Cicero for this early exposition of liberty and safety in opposition to tyrants. John Adams, every other founding father of the U.S., stated of Cicero, "As all the long time of the world have no longer produced an increased statesman and truth-seeker united than Cicero, his authority ought to have awesome weight." Critics of Cicero such as the Marxist, Frederick Engels, claims that in political terms, Cicero was once regularly insincere in his faith in equality and democracy, frequently opposing insurance policies which would have benefited the poor. Religion of Cicero. Cicero did no longer write significantly on his very own non-secular beliefs. He used to be skeptical of components of spiritual superstition, however he valued the presence of faith and worship of the gods for the merchandising of extra virtuous